than your currency. Splurging millions, buying houses like Monopoly. Fucking 9 to 5, man, the money is a joke to me. Buying cryptocurrency, my money in the privacy. I make it rain dollars, they watch me disappear. I'm so fly, man.
Hey guys and girls, welcome to this week's episode of the No-BS Birchy podcast. I'm co-host of the Birch Business Show, unraveling the truth to the facade of the 21st century. We're now X in the Matrix and waking up to motherfucking reality. I feel very awkward at saying that today, right? Because I've got a special guest with me today. We've got Dinisha from Zinger Finance. So this is our podcast. We talk about all things property and all weird things. And today we've got guest speaker. And I thought a few months ago, or a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago, that I've got these clients that I speak to, and they're like, I listen to your podcast all the time. And they go, I don't know you have a YouTube channel. I don't know you have a Facebook page, right? And I thought, wow, like there's an audience out there of people that may have never met some of my team. I like to say how great I am all the time, but you know, it's not just me. We've got hundreds of staff in the organisation, and I thought it'd be good to get, you know, some of the team members, some of the people behind the scenes to come on and answer some questions and share, you know, what they're doing and how they help and what they do. So I guess maybe if you give everyone a bit of a background of what you do, how long you been with us for now?
This year will be 6.
6 years.
6 years, yeah.
Wow. Good. Well, long time, mate.
It is,
So
yes.
another 4 years until you hit the log service crew.
Yeah.
Got we had 2 people in the last couple of months that have gone over the 10 years for the business. So it's very, very cool. So what do you do in the business? Like, what's your role? What do you do?
So I'm a mortgage broker in Zinger Finance. I started in 2017 as a customer service. And from there I worked my way up to broker support and then becoming a broker. And so I think for the past, I want to say 3 years now, I've been a broker.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So you're a broker, you've been with us for 6 years, you've worked your way up. You literally didn't know anything about property when you...
No, I didn't.
I live in a house.
Yes.
Now you got a field with yourself as well, and you're an investor.
Yeah.
And I guess as a broker with the business of Zinger Finance, what would a day-to-day of your life consist of? Like, what would you do to help our clients?
We talk to clients every day. I have appointments with clients, whether new or existing clients. We also go through emails that clients ask for help to review their portfolios, to reduce their interest rates, refinance to release equity, build their portfolio. So it's more working towards that. So that could be, doing servicing with a few different lenders for our clients' needs. Also speaking to the bank for the active applications we have for clients, getting that across the line for approvals, making sure it settles on time. We also workshop deals with our team as well. So not only one specific person knows the deal, if you talk to everyone knows the deal.
So in your team, you got like 13, 15?
40.
So when you go to a normal mortgage brokerage, I've got lots of questions, like lots of other random questions that you're probably not prepared for today, but we do things very different with our finance team. But if you went just to a normal mortgage broker that have just the knowledge in their head, right? There's like a one-man show, they're a mortgage broker, they get you a loan every 5 years or whatever. But with the team at Zinger Finance, you got, 14 colleagues that you go to and say, hey, I've got the situation, what do you think about it? And you can get consultation back from the rest of the team.
Yes, because there's a lot of policies, a lot of lenders out there. So I think it's great when you workshop deals, like scenarios throwing out there. In that way, every day you're learning something new. We also do go for webinars with lenders as well to keep updated on our policies. And
I always see where people with offers, they're probably thinking, who's this guy with a pair of thongs and a board shorts or whatever?
Yeah, we nearly have, I think, once a week, we always have a lender coming in.
Growth and trading, all the types of what's happening over there. Cool.
Yeah.
I always say, like, people watch this and like, I want to get 10 properties, I want to get 20 properties, I want to, do what Birchy's doing, whatever, right? But like the property's one aspect of it, but if you can't get the money to do that, then you can't get your goals, right?
Yes, yeah.
And that's where you and the team are the secret weapon, because we need to find out, okay, who's going to give us some money. And the property game, everyone thinks is just a property, but it's actually a banker's game. It's a finance game. And we need to know, how do we keep the banks happy? How can we get the banks to lend us more money? What do we need to do for ourselves to be better candidates for the bank to give us money? And that's where you come and go, okay, cool. Well, you've got the opportunity here. You've got the solution, which enables people to get to, 10, 15, 20 properties. What's the most amount of properties one of your clients would have, like, just roughly, if you had to think off the top of your head, what would be the most?
22,
22, okay.
I think.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and lots of clients with double-digit portfolios?
Yes, I would say few clients are over 20, a lot of clients over 10.
There we go.
A lot, yes.
And I always say to people, I think it's very important that everyone that is an investor or wanting to be an investor, when they go to build their team and they go to speak to professionals out there, they should be asking their broker, how many clients do you have that have over 10 properties? Right? If they can't answer that, well, the chances are you might be there first, right?
Yeah.
And I wouldn't want to be, if you're getting a haircut, if you're going to the doctor and getting an operation, you don't want to be the first person to operate on it. And you want to know that they've got the capacity to do that. Also, cool. What are the top couple of things that you do? Like, pulling equity out is important for a journey, getting the interest rates at the right price. I'm just coughing, but we're talking too much today. So getting the interest rates for the clients, getting the equity out for them, working out the strategy of which lender.
Yeah.
A lot of people will just go to a bank and say, hey, can I get a loan? And the bank says no, and they think, well, that's all I can do. But you have exposure not just to one or two banks, you've got...
We have a lot of banks.
Whatever, yeah. So yeah, cool. I guess at the moment, like, a lot of people might be watching this. We're filming this in March 2023, and people might be watching this and thinking, it's an interesting time out there, right? They might be thinking, I'm going to go get a bargain because interest rates are rising, right?
Yeah.
Not really bargains out there, but it's a topic for a different podcast. But people have been waiting, but now they can't service, right?
Yeah.
There's always a problem out there. If we go back 2 years ago, it was a much different sort of market. Yeah. But I remember you guys were getting smashed because the banks were all in lockdown, the staff were in lockdown, and there were challenges. It would take 6 to 8 weeks for a loan to be picked up from the bank.
Yeah.
Because there was just no staff.
Yeah, it was. I still remember it was one bank that when we lodged, the day we lodged, we had to wait 42 days just to come back
Pick up the file.
during the lockdown. Yes. Yeah. It was a very challenging time.
So people will be sitting there today going, oh, it's bad because of this, but you can always think here, in the last 6 years, you've always had a problem, right, in your job, right? And I was speaking to Rose yesterday on a webinar, and she's like, there's been problems for 20 years before that, right? Rose is one of our team here at Zinger Finance as well, and there's always going to be a challenge out there, but I guess opportunities at the moment, right? What opportunities do you see in 2023 in the finance space, and what's happening out there in the finance market?
So what we're finding at the moment, the banks are discounting the rates. They want to give more discount for clients, even new clients or existing clients, because they do want to keep the clients happy instead of, going elsewhere. So I think that would be a good opportunity at the moment. Yeah.
Real live example of that. This morning I woke up, I listened to text messages. I had 2 clients text me today saying that they called their bank and one of got I don't know what the other one got, but one of got a 0.45, 45 basis point discount after a webinar, which we did yesterday to about 100 people, and said about going to the bank, asking them for a discount.
Yes. Yeah. So it's always good to also call the banks, as what the client did, call the banks and ask for rate discount. Say, they're more than happy to look into it, instead of you leaving elsewhere, they're more than happy to look at your portfolio and then they might reduce your rates. Yeah.
Cool. And equity, like I'm saying, even though there's a lot of gossip out there about the market being tough and that one, and still saying that, you're being able to pull the equity out for investors. They're still being able to build, half dozen properties in quick succession in their portfolio due to equity being out there. It is tougher. You've got, I guess, different banks that you've got at your disposal. Some of them are improving. I know that there's a lot of second-tier lenders, and you guys are utilising that. And the actual products, like something that I've noticed recently that I'd never seen beforehand, right? But I've seen your team talking about there's a product with one of the banks that you could have been an employee and you've become a contractor, and you can get like a loan based on a loan based on like a, I don't know what it's called, but it's like a 1-day ABN, like you can become a new business and get that. And lots of new products that are popping in.
Yes, they're constantly changing depending on the current market as well. So they are constantly changing to make it a bit better for the clients. So yes, that 1-day ABN is one example, and also clients who are in a medical field or an accountant, or lawyer, they have like specific policy for that as well. So
if you're a doctor or an accountant or a lawyer, you can get a mortgage, and you have to put down 10%. Yeah,
so lender's mortgage insurance will be waived off.
Sometimes I think just go and become a lawyer or something, right? Or let's go and get the cheaper interest rates and get better deals. But cool. So lots of opportunities out there. A lot of people, refinancing. Yes, the market can be tough with interest rates rising, but there's things that you can be doing. Like yourself, so give Dinisha a buzz. What does a no BS lifestyle mean to you?
So
just in general, like no BS. Yeah.
It's just, I think it's good to have no BS lifestyle for everyone. It's just straightforward, You're not sugarcoating. You should know what's happening out there. You shouldn't, you're not beating around the bushes. And and you should take it as it is, right?
I know you've always said, I know where I stand with you, Nathan. You just tell me where it is. We've joked about that over many years.
I mean, what's the point in sugarcoating?
Exactly.
Right,
We're living in a world with everything's fake up there. I think you've got fake teachers on the TV or whatever, fake prophets, people obeying blind faith to, TV or the government as their ruler. You've got fake influencers, everyone wanted to be a Kim Kardashian or something like that, right? Fake food, fake knowledge, fake schooling, and I think, it's important to have transparency. I think that's where we cut through with what we do, not just as the podcast that I put out every week, but also as a team, we have a good culture of, we just tell people as it is, and we help people in their journey. If they like it, they like it. If they don't, they don't. But we do a good job, and people, like to do business with us. So, Cool. Well, I guess, we touched on it beforehand, like getting into the crux of it, like understanding the bank's turnaround times, right? Like going back a year ago or 2 years ago when Corona was on, like literally, I don't think anyone really understood, right? People were just angry, right? They'd be like, I'd hear them, they'd call me up and say, what's going on at Zinger, right? They're taking forever. They're telling me these stories, right? That, that it's like, yes, you got to understand that we're in lockdown, but not just here in Australia. The banks,
everywhere.
The banks have their team offshore. The banks are rather from India and the Philippines and whatnot, and they're not working. No one's answering the phone. There was big turnaround times, 42 days to pick up the file if you were lucky. What?
And we were I think they were so understaffed as well.
Yeah.
Because when that lockdown happened, the assessors itself, within the family, they've got COVID or someone passed away. So it's just, it was taking forever and forever. And we feel bad for the clients as well. But there's nothing much that we can do from, our end to try to push it, because if we're understaffed, there's only so much. And we also try to escalate, with our BDM. So there's always a point where if it's an urgent deal, we do escalate with our BDM. But at that time,
was crazy.
Yeah.
Well, what's the service like now for the banks? What are they doing?
They're very good now. I think 2 days. Once you lodge the application, we should get an update within 2 days, 2 business days.
So I guess It's got lots of questions. It's my own knowledge as well. It's been ages since I've done stuff like this too. I'd see it happen every day for our clients. Like if I was a person coming on to get a loan right today, what would be the process? What would, like, someone calls up Zinger, someone speaks to Dinisha, what would be the process?
So from the beginning.
Yeah, I'm just a new client.
Okay.
Call you up. Dinisha, get me some loans. I want to buy 10 properties tomorrow, right? I've only got enough deposit for 3. How do I buy the 3 properties? What do you do? Walk me through that.
We have an appointment. We usually cater 1 hour for the client. We ask questions about their finance position, get some knowledge on where they're currently at the moment, if they do have any properties, any debts, how much their savings, their incomes, and etc. And then that once we have that chat, also build a rapport between the client and the broker as well. Then we request documents. We get them to fill out BoundNet, which is our CRM for Zinger. And once that's done, then we go through the supporting documents. So whatever the client is saying to us in the appointment, we just need to make sure we match those documents, the numbers we need to match up.
So one thing I know, I'll stop you there. Like one thing I know is that inside our business, we have like a compliance team where some people over the years have tried to fudge things, or they try to make things. We call it the no BS or Birchy podcast. People try and bluff through things or forget that they've got a kid or something like that. And the one thing that we've made sure, like as a business, we get into, if we had an exception or something was wrong with the client's file or it's wrong when you submit it, we get into trouble for that. We get marked badly and our service goes down to the bank. And what happens. And like we've got platinum brokers on our team, which is like 1 out of 100, 1 out of 70, stuff like that. So for us to be able to give that, we mustn't have any exceptions or anything like that.
Yeah.
So the team will verify and go to cross-check and cross-examine all.
Yes, that's actually part of our compliance. We have to cross-check even bank statements, seeing if there's anything that's like gambling or any lump sum money coming in. So those type of things we do need to look into. If everything's all right, then that's when the brokers will start doing the servicing as well with a few different lenders, see which one is more suitable for them based on their goals and needs, order valuation if needed, check equity, and then that's when we talk to the client. Okay, so I've done your servicing. This is what I think it looks good with this bank. This is the rate. If it's variable, fixed, interest only, how many years of interest only, if we do get any discounts. And if the client is happy, if they have any questions, then we help them out. And then that's when we will prepare the application. We will lodge the application. We do have a broker support team, where brokers work closely with the application and make sure that we try to make it smooth as possible for it to be approved and settled.
Cool. And everyone that comes in the team to become a broker, they become a broker support.
Yes, I am the proof.
And it's just like McDonald's, right? If someone wanted to, just random fun fact, right? If you want to own a McDonald's store, you can't go and buy a McDonald's store. You have to literally work in there, cleaning the tables, putting the bin scraps away for 6 months and work your way up before then you can get the invitation to do that. And I think for us to train our brokers, we've got a really good process to make sure our compliance is solid and whatnot. So you workshop, like say for instance, you've got something that you like, okay, this client's, everybody's position is different. Some person might have kids, someone may not have kids, someone may have a business, someone may not have a business, someone might have heaps of debt that they need to push through to the next level. You workshop that with the team. If you feel like you need to, you come back with a few solutions and go, this is the best option based on your situation. 1, 2, and 3. Properties, like the type of property people buy, some banks won't accept it in the policy and whatnot. You work out this is the best option, then you put it forward to the bank. What would happen from there? How long does that take for the bank to approve it?
Once addressing the exceptions, it should take within 2 to 3 business days for them to come back with an approval. I think now everything is just going fast, which is a good thing. Clients are all when it comes to purchases, so there's no delays, anything like that. So what we have seen so far, and their processes are also improving, the bank side as well. So they do call us, especially when they're working outsourced, like in India or Philippines, anywhere. They do actually call us and talk to us about it. So the service level is improving. Communication with assessors also improving. Their process are improving as well. And so we shouldn't take that long anymore.
So let's say it's complicated or there's exceptions.
Yeah, I was going to say, unless it's a complex deal, that's a different story. Basically, it's a given thing that, for example, like self-employed, they just straight away put it into a complex situation. They don't even look at the paperwork. They know it's self-employed. They just put it in a complex deal. So I would say within a week.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's still not bad compared to last time.
And let's say that if I said, hey, Dinisha, I want to go get a loan. I've got 2 properties already. I want to get equity out.
Yeah.
What would be the process about equity and how does that work and whatnot?
So it's still the same process. But when it comes to equity, we usually do the servicing first, making sure that they do actually service with the bank. And once they do, then that's when we order valuations. And we don't just order one, we do order with a few different banks just to compare. As long as you're able to service with the lenders, then we will let you know once it's completed. So there are a few different types of valuation there that the banks do, or the valuer do. So based on that, then we tell the client, this is how much equity you have. If you're happy, we usually try to place in, if you're releasing equity, usually you would use the money for deposit for a purchase. So then we would proactively ask the client if they want to do a pre-approval in place just to avoid delays and stuff.
I've got a random question, and this isn't as an advice of saying what should I do or shouldn't do. But let's say, for instance, I hear that there's a lot, right? Like a client will come in and they want to buy 5 properties this year, right? Let's just use 4 properties for the kind of it, right? And the process would be, yes, they've got 200 grand in savings, so they're buying a property at 200 grand a piece. They've got enough for 450 grand deposits to buy it. They'll be like, I want to buy the first one, I want to settle it, and then I want to come back and buy the next one. In that process, the way I see it, if you bought 4 properties today, right, you buy it, settle them, go back, pull out equity. In that process, you buy a property today, it takes you 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 10 weeks, whatever, to settle the property from the day you sign the contract. And then once you own the property, then you've got to settle it, wait a little bit, go back, pull out the equity, go again. In that period of time, like the information that's provided to you as a broker, you need like the rental income, you need pay slips and all that. If you were to do one property, settle it, come back, do the second property, settle it, the time frame is very much more slowed down.
Yeah.
Cool. What about information that's provided? You don't just provide it once.
You provide 4 times, basically, then. Yeah, so rather, if you're buying it all at once, if you can service for it, might as well just do everything at once.
Yeah. And is there any tips for people, like how that you could think of that could help people that would be thinking of getting a loan, or how they can improve their position? We said that the banks will look up favourably on, Uber every day, Uber Eats that. What sort of things do you think could help, or what does the bank look for people to be more favourable?
Yeah. So I'll just start off by saying what the banks actually look at when it comes to service for a loan. So they don't just look at your income, they look at your incoming income. So if you do have rental incomes as well, they will take that. However, they also look at your outgoing commitment. So whether you have debts, credit cards, personal loan, they look at everything. Not only that, they also look at your daily living expenses. So if you have a couple that has no kids compared to a couple that has 2 kids, your living expenses will be different. So tips would be, first is try to minimize spending. I think in this case, living expenses is quite important. And if they do see some regular expenses, they do come and ask a lot of questions.
Get their hair done every 8 weeks instead of every 4 weeks.
Yes, I think everyone's trying to do that anyway. Everyone's trying to minimize with the current market and all that. So minimize expenses. Also, for clients who are buying properties, obviously have savings, enough savings to be able to buy your first property or second property or equity. Look into your rental incomes. See if it's time to increase your rental incomes. Rents.
If you got like 10 properties and you put the rent up $50 on each, there's $500.
Yeah. And it does make a difference. But at the same time, also see in terms of like your regular salary income as well. If because usually every year clients would have performance reviews and everything like that. So just have a look, because that's also a main part as well. Any unnecessary liabilities. So any unnecessary liabilities that like subscriptions, or even if you think that you have a credit card, for example, and you don't even use that, but it's still active, close that down.
Oh, the 20-year credit card, it's okay, I did nothing on it.
Yeah, because banks will still take that because you have access to that limit. So credit card is still a liability. Some clients till now, they don't tell me that they have credit cards because they think that's not a liability. So
and then you find out about it.
Another tip is that with whatever your situation is, always tell your broker everything, whatever it is, because if we end up finding out from the bank, then it's a no-go situation from there. So
presented, whether it be, like I've seen it happen over the years. I don't know how the banks look at it now, but like say for instance you've had a default on something, or it's a rate not paid or something.
Yeah.
They pick it up. If you show them first, then there's a bit of that can happen.
Yeah, so there will be like a valid reason why, and so then we can mitigate that. We can speak to the bank about it. But if they find out from their end, because they do comprehensive credit check, if they find out and if it's like certain amount of more than a certain amount of limit, then they will. Sometimes they might not budge. So just a tip is that to tell your broker everything.
People come to us and say, I don't know from speaking to the customer service team of the business, that they have been coming in and asking, like, is it still possible to build a portfolio of 10 properties? Is it still possible to buy 5 properties in a year? Those sort of things. It's good for me to say, you can buy 10 properties today or whatever. How are you finding it? Is it still possible? Are clients still going from 0 to 5, 0 to 10 in a year or 2 years? Or?
Yeah, literally coming to work every day is just hands-on on getting properties for clients. So it's still not too late. Like it's still possible to buy 5 properties, whatever your goals are. It's still possible. It's just putting the right strategy with the banks. So yeah, I would say it's still possible.
I always feel like when I walk through the team and they're walking around, Denisha's like, it's coming right in. So I come into everyone's desk, I'm like, right, who have we got equity for, right? And I feel like, I always joke about it because I feel like a debt collector. I'm like, who's ready to go, right? I send over the people, I'm like, guys, where's my clients at, where are we going? And there's also moving parts. It's important that we work closer together. I work closer with the finance team to make sure that our investors are, getting the right outcome for their needs. And we're very proactive. Like I've got one client. The client has got 19 properties, right? There's a female client, and the one thing I take pride on with this one is that the client's never come to me and said, okay, what do I do next, right? So from my side, I'm constantly sitting there thinking, okay, how do we pull out equity? What can we do? And then, I'll then send to the client and say, hey, this is what, a property that I think you should do. I think you should go and speak to Zinger and, ask them about this property, and what equity you've got. And then next minute they speak to you, you go, yep, we've gone to the bank, we've been able to pull out the equity, you can make that deal happen. And I think it's important that the whole team of the investor is working together and collaborating with being able to come to the same outcome. So cool. And I guess some of the other questions that I've got a few little questions here as we go through. It could be all day talking about cool stuff about finance, and it's I think finance in itself is a boring topic, right? And but it's the outcome that people are looking for, right? And the outcome people don't know how to get to the outcome, but if they behave and act a certain way, then they can get to the outcome. And that behavior is, not loading yourself up credit cards and useless shit and signing yourself up to all the store credit and all that sort of stuff. Well, what team members, so you've got, you're the broker.
Yeah.
Who else do you have on your team? Like, what do they do?
So we have customer service. Take calls, any new leads come in, we attend to that. We also have broker support who work closely with us in terms of getting the loans approved, lodging them, speaking to the clients, speaking to the banks, getting them to settle. And then we have the brokers, dealing with clients and getting them the loan, purchase, refinance, and then we have the head of Zinger, Rose. So she.
Odd years of experience.
Yes. So she overlook all of us, and if there's any workshop needed or any training, we always go to her. But vice versa, she also come to us if there's any new policy or anything like that we know. So we just help each other. We always have training as well once a week. We just go through, like, no matter how many times we've done like self-employed or PYG clients, for example, we still go through training every week just to refresh our minds. So which is good, because it's not only the brokers that knows, even customer service knows that as well. Yeah.
And also, like, one thing that I don't think I know no other broker, right? I'll challenge any broker to come to me and say that this is what they do, right? Because I don't think they have the volume to happen. But one thing that I know that we do really well as a team is the data, right? The data that we have as far as, let's say, for instance, we've revalued a property. We buy 100 properties in the same suburb, right?
Yep.
Over the last 10 years. You see that area has gone up. Someone sees that the valuation is like, okay, that bank now has valued this property here. It was at 300. Now we could pull out at 380K. We've got a valuation in the same street, same suburb, same block, whatever. As a team, you collectively go together and go, okay, all our clients that have bought there, you actively look at, okay, is there a possibility for the client to be able to harvest the equity and be able to identify, okay, there's an opportunity, and then, we're proactive with our client to make sure that they're reaching their goals, which I don't think anyone does, which, I guess, we talk about the loan application process. We know that they've taken like 6 weeks to get the file picked up beforehand. And each different, and this is the other thing, right? So you said complex deal. So you've got a complex deal would be a self-employed.
Self-employed, yeah.
Contractor.
Yep.
Self-managed super fund.
Yes.
It's the really tricky one.
We also have
Trust.
trust, and also land and build.
Land and build.
Yeah, we do have land and build. Yeah.
If you're going for a self-managed super fund, I've had people that have been like 10 properties with Dinisha, right? 10 properties with whoever the broker is. And then they go buy a property in a self-managed super fund. And they're like, what is happening with Dinisha, right? She's dropped the ball on me on this one, right? It's not worked, whatever the case may be. And it's like, well, why did that happen? It's a totally different process.
It is, yes. It's different. It is non-NCCP. It's a different documents. There's trustee, there's fair trust. So it's more like you're purchasing a property under an entity.
Yeah.
So it's completely different how they also, do the servicing as well, and how they assess your situation. So it's not me, trust me.
And always, it's important that we let everyone know, like, this is going to be the communication throughout the process. The people are stressed. People go, you should have the cooling off period.
Yep.
Do I need to ask for an extension and all that? And it's a communication with everyone. I guess one of the final sort of questions that I've got is equity, right? Like, I always say to my investors, 12 months you should think of equity, 6 months, but it can happen quicker. On average, what would be the time frame for someone to pull out equity? There's different ways of getting the equity. You're pulling out equity and you're refinancing, but you don't want to technically refinance to a different bank. You want to see if you can get a top-up loan, or if you've bought the property really well. what would be like the shortest period, and what would be the average period, and what would be the sort of recommended period of getting it?
Ideally, 6 to 12 months. I would say usually clients would come back within 6 months and ask, if we can release equity. But there are circumstances. So it's just depending on the property that they buy as well, like within the area, Yes, yeah. So I can go based on my experience, I can say. Based on my experience, less than 2 months. Less than 2 months.
Very nervous because she doesn't want everyone going, "Oh, you come get the equity," but like it can happen quite fast. But on average, 6 months or so.
Yes.
Recommend 12 months.
Recommend 6 months.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's like process with the bank, and you want to make sure that that it's all good.
But I mean, more than happy to ask us anyway. Like, you can ask us and give us a call. Let us know that, if you think there is equity in your properties, like depending on the area and everything, we can definitely have a look for you and see how we can go from there.
Beautiful. And I guess as we finish this up, I always rattle off, right? Dinisha, I feel like you can send us an email, you can call us whenever, right? The number for Zinger Finance is a different number. So if someone wants to contact with Dinisha or the team at Zinger Finance, you can contact us at info@zingerfinance.com.au. If you want Dinisha to be your broker, or you just think, I think I job all Dinisha, and if you want to speak to it, send an email and say, hey, I've seen Dinisha on the podcast, and we'll chat with her. You can call the office at 1300 882 022. That's 1300 882 022. And if you like the podcast, you do like the videos that we put out there, smash up a like, share it with your friends and family, subscribe to us. We're on Spotify, Apple Play, Google Play, YouTube, and out every week. So thanks, Dinisha, for helping everyone build their portfolios. I can take the credit and say I built cool portfolios, but without the finance team, without doing what you do, without your dedication and commitment and understanding and knowledge on how to finance it, if people don't have money, they can't buy shit. So, they need to have the finance, and you're, crucial to that. You've been doing it for 6 years now. You've worked the ground up and you know how to build portfolios. Ask your broker that you're using, how many clients do they have that have 10 plus properties. I'm sure there'll be a pause before they go, there's heaps that have over 20 as well, right?
Yeah.
It's important. So any final comments, Dinisha, for you today?
No, if you just need any help, any assistance, or if you want to start your portfolio, anything with your properties or your investment journey, please contact us.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. We'll catch up soon. See you next week. Bye for now.
Bye.
Like Bilal said, man, we're stuck in the matrix. This my advice, don't care if you take it. The dollar back to die, soon to be hyperinflated. This my 2 cents, don't care if you save it. Joint be decentralized and you will see you've been lied to the whole time, and it's the irony, cause they do the exact opposite. You become a slave to the system, enough your money, all they do is profit. There's no conspiracy theory, you better hear me. Crypto will set you free before the system does. I don't care if you do or you don't, but what I'm saying is the truth to the reason you choke. I've never been a failure, excuse my behavior. Keep talking, haters doing me a favor. They all telling lies, I know what they been telling you. I'm the opposite, the Donald Trump of Australia. It's amazing, here for the taking. My time is never wasted, just getting wasted. These girls say I'm really breathtaking. I can't help it if I really misbehave.